taxonomies for product information. So how you can enrich products with more descriptive information. Our approach to this is a concept that we call topic maps, which you see here on the screen. This is a topic map which explains the concepts of mathematics and science. So like you have pre-calculus and calculus and etc. etc. So you have kind of this hierarchy of information. And but maybe we should stop a little bit and kind of talk about, so what is a taxonomy, and in our case, topic maps. How do we define it? And basically, as you can see here, so this is a visualization of concepts. So connected concepts, like, for example, mathematics, and there's a sub-concept there, like optimization, and an even sub-concept here, like game theory and linear programming. So these are kind of two concepts, which is connected to optimization and then mathematics. And of course, now we're talking on a general sense in terms of topic maps, but basically a topic describes a concept. And I'm not sure if we have more e-commerce relevant concepts, but let's say color. That's an obvious one, right? So you have maybe a primary color, a secondary color, or that you have a hierarchy of colors. And you can go also, depending on kind of your business, you will have different types of concepts. And maybe here, so this here is actually a standard called thema that we've been just loading into Crystallize. This is what's being used to describe, books in libraries, and also, I believe, also in museums. It's used for categorization. And earth science, let's see here. That's like one other example of a topic map that describes, again, a totally different type of concepts. And then we can go into, I don't know, do we have some interesting things here to look at, Mr. Stavros?
I guess it's a lot of different subjects. It's very, very specific to this taxonomy, I guess, but it's, I guess, different essences of different sciences. Yeah. And I guess the concept here is that you can go, like you said, as further down as you want, make it as fine-grained as you want, or as generic as you want to grasp and describe the concept. And maybe you will agree with me that the idea with eCommerce is that, and the way that we do it in Crystallize, is that we don't, since we don't separate, product and documents or static or any kind of content pages as part of the system, we can essentially use the topics in the same way to describe a product and associate it with any kind of rich media or any kind of static content that we need to market that directly. So it could be something as simple as defining a science book, which could be a product that I'm selling in my store, with the blogs that I'm writing, which is my content strategy. And this belong in the same concept, but they're two different items in my catalog. So that's another thing that
Or let's say you're doing a travel magazine and also have rental apartments, for example. Yeah, so you could have a travel magazine that describes Mount Everest, for example. And then you can see here, I think it's a good example because everybody knows that this is a pretty big hill. And here you have the taxonomy of this. Sorry, I'm zooming too much in. And you see that this is in the Himalayas, as we know, and this is in Asia. And it's mountains, hills, and plains in Asia. And then it's... you see the full taxonomy of Mount Everest, and this is a very scientific or information architecture nerdy part of taxonomies, but it's really to describe a concept. And as you saw, the concept can be totally different types of dimensions, because you can jump then to history and archaeology, for example. which is describing something totally different. That could be relevant for books, right? Or if you're into, antiques, for example, it could be very useful to use this kind of taxonomy. And one thing is the topic maps and the actual topics which are connected. And each topic should describe a specific concept. That's the thinking. And then you have what we call occurrences. So this topic, for example, can have several occurrences. And if I'm switching to a more eCommerce demo, to keep it a little bit simpler to keep track, you can say that, okay, I'm describing color as a concept or a hierarchy of concepts. I just added blue, red, and green here. And what you can do then is also use the same way of thinking to go deeper down into the concept. So it's light green, dark green, you could have turquoise, you could have different specifics, and turquoise could be under light green. And this comes down to the way you want to describe the concept. You can also watch the occurrences. So which, in this case, products are connected to this topic. And then you actually will be able to have the connection between multiple products and the concept. And I'll just scroll down on this. This is a pretty simple product. It's a sofa. It's got the color green, and it's got a room, living room. Totally different concepts, but it's connected to this. And if I'm looking here at this beautiful sofa, Norwegian design, we can scroll down and we see all of the marketing information and the product information, all of the variants, maybe related products. But then you come down to the topics. And this is what you're using to, as specifically as possible, describe this product. So if I would, let's say I didn't already have that here, so I have some colors, because this sofa comes in both green, blue, red. Then I could, let's say, I don't know, if you have a fabric, a leather, but maybe also wool. So it's merino wool and leather. So you can really go down into the specifics, and you can also connect it to, this is living room, bathroom. I'll remove that. And then you could also have very e-commerce features again, like specials, for example, new arrivals or organic or outlet, sale, etc. So which are totally different concepts describing one or more dimensions of a product. And this is, if we go back to the topics again, and with, which is, hierarchical description of topics is the scientific way of describing it. It's how you can tag your products with more information, but it is something you can tag across multiple product categories or types of product, because any product that is red, you will be able to assign to this topic or tag it. But it could also be clothes. It could be content marketing, as you said, Stavros. Some blogs that describe the color red would be a strange blog, maybe, but it could be more into, let's say you're going into what type of fabric do you have on your product, so leather, cotton, wool, etc. Or as we saw here with this is typical IKEA type of navigation. So you can either navigate by the type of products, like is it the sofa, is it a chair, or which room are you interested in?
Or it's which fits best in each room, or so that's again instead of the categorical, let's say, structure of a product, you bring in another dimension. So you make it more refined. I guess that's like the great thing about the topic maps.
And you can also say that, let's say you're selling apparel, dresses, for example, it's women's apparel. And by association, you will know if this concept is assigned to a product or a a blog post or a piece of content, you will know by association that this is apparel, is for women, for example. So you can also use this for filtering out in search, for example. But if you take the basic, this here could basically be your menu navigation. So you could have specials as one thing. I'm just going to look for outlet products, for example. Or you could do, I want to see all products that is relevant for my kitchen space. And as you see, this gives a lot of flexibility in the level of detail that you describe your products. And of course, this has some really good benefits when you're talking e-commerce or your website, because one of the things,
navigation, but it's also facet filtering, right? So that's what we see quite a lot, this being used, because this is a additional feature that you may, like you said, you can use topics for navigation. You can use topic, one specific kind of topic that will be your navigation, but it will be additional to or complementary to another one, to use it for filtering, to build something like a more complex search query. You can use that for facet search based on the catalog that you currently have, like you said, like IKEA. So it's a lot of things.
It's quite flexible, sure. but it's if you go back to the scientific kind of topics, you see that you can go in very much detail into how you define your topic maps, and you can be very specific, and especially if you have a lot of content, a lot of products, that type of taxonomy definition really helps. So if it's medical charge color atlases, for example, quite specific kind of topic. And of course, as you say, so you can use it as a navigation, and which is a hierarchical menu structure, for example. And the obvious example here would be, I'm shopping for men's clothes and I'm looking for shoes, for example. And then you would assign all of the relevant products to this topic, so that you can use it for navigation and filtering when you're searching.
One thing that I also like, and I've seen that quite a lot, is that you can actually, let's say, tailor make that to match your business case. So say that you have, for example, because now we give a lot of ideas for scientific related things, or more like generic e-commerce type of build-outs. But with Crystallize, the idea is that you can totally tailor make and customize the platform to fit your business needs, right? So what if my business was something like selling some kind of food? So I have like a restaurant and I'm sending out food. Maybe then I want to map out like which allergens there are in which type of dish that I'm selling, or which kind of or for instance, if I'm selling services, maybe I want to map out the different types of services that I'm selling. Maybe I can map out different rules. I can use all of this to actually create my topic map that matches exactly what I'm trying to create in Crystallize. So it's nice to think about of like the more, not the only standard like say e-commerce standard e-commerce template, but more like I can map out concepts in topic maps, not just simply tagging my product just to find out similarities. I can do way more than that, and I need to take advantage of the hierarchical structure here as well. So that's like you said, you can actually find out things about depending on the topic, you can find out relevancies to the parent. You can find content that you're hiding on a parent node of the topic map. It's a lot of power. That's what I'm saying.
and of course, also, as I said, that if you're doing food, you could do allergens, but you could also do vegan or vegetarian kind of filtering,
or flavors, or things like that. You can map totally different concepts in one single feature, let's say. Quote, unquote.
And this is, again, any type of products or even marketing content, you will be able to assign this these concepts. And again, you can use it just for displaying. Okay, this product contains allergens, and it could be nuts below, for example. So you can kind of be very specific on these hierarchies. Or, of course, navigation or the search faceting and filtering, basically. But how would you work with this? Because now we've been creating some topic maps. We have assigned them to products. Because this is not a one-time thing. You need to continuously tweak and tune. And the first is, of course, the term is typically content governance, right? So that you define your rules in terms of these are our topic maps that we want to use for navigation or for describing our products. And this is let's say zooming in, the rules for how to assign them. But also it would be good in terms of, we call internet craftsmanship, in terms of using data to continuously improve your customer journey. And what if you find that your customers are doing a lot of searches, but they're not finding products? So, for example, to search for or to use analytics to see which searches on your web shop returns no results, and what are the terms they're searching for. Because that could be a very quick win in terms of, okay, they spelled it wrong, if it's a hard name to spell, for example, or if they took the wrong, even brand. Maybe they're searching for a type of product, but they call it by a different name. Or if they're searching for a color, like you have tagged your sweaters with the color green, and they're searching for turquoise all the time, for example. You could then be more specific. If it is a turquoise shirt or whatever, you can add that as a topic so that it will show up in the search results. And this is the continuous process of using the topics in the taxonomy to basically create a better customer journey for your shoppers. So they will basically find your products, and then they would typically buy more, which is what it's all about when you're doing e-commerce.
Yep. Better experience. But what do you say if we actually, back to what you said. So, all right, I want to get started with topics. Let's say that I mapped a couple of products or a couple of topics to my products.
Yep.
I touch them. Okay, and I'm using the boilerplate, which is like the boilerplates are using the search API. Okay. So maybe I can try to find out something. Maybe I can test it. Maybe I can check how I can build a query with that.
Yeah.
How
so
can I enhance what I have now?
And again, we have different APIs to handle different parts of this. Here you see an example of an article actually, which is using some topics. We just display them here visually. But then you have kind of your article, and then you have related. And this is actually fetching the products that have the same topics assigned. So this is one way of using this. And you see here, we also display the topics here on the, in this case, this sofa, which is what you saw in the back end here. So these are the topics, which you also see here. And that's one way of managing the usage of topics. I would say this is the first step that we start with. I think we will do a different stream where we walk through all of the different APIs to build out both this fetching the topics for a product, fetching the other items that has the same topics associated, how to build out multi-dimensional navigations, and also then how to do faceted search. And if you want to get the sneak peek, of course, this is just an example of how simple it could be, just in terms of if you're doing a search, and I'm just doing an open search here on this tenant, which is the furniture tenant, our default retail e-commerce demo. And here you see aggregations of all the topics that are assigned. So living room has 16, green has 15, organic, etc., etc. And what you will also be able to do, of course, is then to apply the aggregations to an actual, search term. So if I search for sofa, I will get less results because some of these were actually plants and other types of products. And then you can use this information here, the aggregation, to actually build out faceting in your search so that you can more easily narrow down. And this is where you can really tweak and tune the way your customers find your products. And of course, if you're selling furniture, or if you're selling plants, or if you're selling, I don't know, books, it will be different types of customer journeys. And we are headless in Crystallize, and which means that these topics are available as a query, right? So it's pretty. This is a GraphQL queries, and this is super nice for developers, and it's super fast, 4 milliseconds for this guy. And you will be able to basically use the different types of APIs that we have to build tailor-made frontends. Navigation, as we said, aggregation on search results, and then of course having the association on the actual products and pieces of content to see which do belong together. What's the right for you? Well, that will depend on kind of the industry, the type of products, type of content you have, but at least you can see that you can be pretty specific here. And here's the description of languages, and then we see, for example, here's Finnish. I've always wondered which language. What do you call it?
I didn't know that.
No.
Yep.
So it's Fido. Yeah, I'm not going to try to pronounce it.
I guess. Yep. Nice. Learn something today.
Yeah. Anyhow, I digress. So I think that's what we wanted to mention today. If you want to check it out, you can go to crystallize.com and just click create an account, and then 2 clicks, and you have your own fresh tenant, as we say. And tenant is just an instance of Crystallize, and then you can start playing with topic maps. You can check out the queries with the query builder here, not the query builder, but the playground, and away you go.
Nice. I think that was a pretty nice first presentation, because like you said, we're going to be following up on this one. So yeah, be sure to check it out, guys, and yeah, you'll see more quite soon on topics for sure. So all right, thank you very much for joining, everyone. For any questions, reach out to all of us in Crystallize community, and to all of the guys in the team, for sure. Yeah, that's about it, I think. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.